We're at Fort Buford State Historic Site in North Dakota, just east of the border with Wyoming, or Montana rather. This is where Sitting Bull surrendered, having said in a note, if I remember correctly, "I will fight no more forever." Boom! Scared you, didn't I? This is the actual building where Sitting Bull surrendered, on the steps, at the steps of this officers' quarters of the fort. Just off to the right you can see a outpost building. It's where the officer of the day watched the sentries. And just off to the left, the brown building is the powder building. These are the only buildings that remain of the fort. Other buildings in the area are reproductions. These sort of places always intrigue me. You wonder what the story is behind them. Probably a simple one. The man and wife raised his family and they moved to town, sold the land to the neighboring landowner. But maybe there's a lot more to it. Although the scenery has not changed much, the highways in North Dakota has changed immensely. We've gone from a 2-lane road to a 4-lane divided highway. It's the same U.S. highway, just a different state. This is Old Settlers Park, just west of Minot, North Dakota. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name of this town. Bemidji? Bemidji? We're in Minneapolis. Claims to be the first city on the Mississippi. And I would reckon that's a lake, not the Mississippi. And their primary claim to fame is the statue of Paul Bunyan and his blue ox, built originally carved out of a solid piece of wood in 1937. Been here ever since. And this is Chief Bemidji. Next time we lay some concrete at Sunny Ridge, we might want to consider doing that. It's depressed into the concrete. And a nearby piece of metalwork named Me dedicated to powwow dancing. In Minnesota, the Forest History Center. So we'll see how things used to be.
Well, I mean, if a guy is desperate for a pinch of snooze, I ain't gonna turn him down, but we write things down up against their account. That's the way it works. We're a company store. And you may have heard bad things about company stores, but
for supply purposes, we'd have our
this would be the bunkhouse.
Our tote sleigh would go back into town about every 2 weeks or so.
Hello there. Men, they all come in here after a day's work, hang the wet clothes on the poles, find a spot, and they wait for the horn to blow.
Sure. We got 1 hole and room for 8 men. Sometimes the need's great enough we can fit 10 on there. If y'all want to come up and take a look if you'd like. Now this one here is quite a bit of a luxury. A lot of the camps around will often just be no walls, no roof. It's just
the outhouse.
sitting on, that's all we got. But if we do have a couple.
This is used to haul the noon meal out to the men in the woods. Their cooks would prepare it and haul it out there.
Well, you all must be from Minnesota. There's only Minnesotans that walk 2 days in the snow. There's no back in a half a pair of trousers.
It's warm. They got a fire going.
For sure. Good day. Now, right off the bat, the kids heard that the horses and even the flapjacks, I can make all of those without eggs, milk, or butter. So.
I'm sorry, what is this building?
Oh, this is the filer shack.
Okay.
Now, it's often called the camp dentist also. You remember, we're in the winter time here.
A water wagon.
We'll ice our roads, so that way it's easier for the sleds to slide.
This would be the barn. Smells like a barn too.
We got a bunch of visitors here.
Cody here is 8 years old. He's a great Berkshire. Right now he's in his prime color.
The blacksmith shop. This is a sky hook used to load the logs onto a wagon or a sled. This is a Minnesota Forest Service camp used by the Conservation Corps in the 1930s. It's a reproduction.
Just in 1923, they put the bigger horsepower engine in it. It's got a 23 engine. One is, you're never sure what this thing is going to do at any given time.
What year did you say this was?
1919.
Okay, well, we have a great
1919.
grandma, big